Hey guys, what's up? I hope everyone is doing well and playing a lot of drums these days. Today we're going to speak about a very common topic in the world of drums, and it's called linear drum fill-ins for intermediate and advanced drummers. So, what are we going to do in this lesson? First of all, I will explain you what are even linear drum fill-ins and the definition of linear drumming. Then secondly, we're going through some different examples, step by step. We're starting super slow from the most basic fill-in and develop these fill-ins to more advanced fill-ins using different orchestrations, different groupings, subdivisions, stickings, and tempos. Furthermore, I will explain you a concept, how to use groupings to create your own linear drum fill-ins. And on the top of that, you will have the ability to download a handout where I just summarized all the fill-ins from this lesson and the concept which you can use to create your own fill-ins. So what do you need to get the most out of this lesson? If you have a drum kit, that would be the best thing because you can practice everything directly on the drum kit. And if not, if you have just a practice pad, that's more than enough. So you can just practice the stickings on that, which is the most important thing. But you should be familiar with terms like time signature, sticking, subdivision, and orchestration. So, yeah, if you have the knowledge of that, that would be really good. And at the end of the lesson, you will hopefully be able to use the examples I give you in this lesson and just apply them in your playing, or even have the right tools to create your own drum fill-ins and apply them into your style of playing. Cool. I would say, let's go. So first of all, what is linear drumming? Linear drumming means we're not hitting two instruments at the same time. It's always just one voice of the drum kit playing. So if we play, for example, this fill-in, that would not be a linear drum fill-in because we're playing the tom and the snare drum at the same time. In comparison to this fill-in, this would be a linear drum fill-in because I'm playing the tom, the snare, and the bass drum always separately. They're never gonna be played at the same time. So if we go for the first example now, we're playing 3 bars of an 8-note groove in a 4/4 time signature. And the fill-in is just 1 bar of hand-to-hand sticking in 16th notes on the snare drum. Let's go. Alright, so the next step would be to orchestrate the same sticking around the drum kit. And the most simple way to do that is the most basic fill-in, just playing 4 hits on the snare, 4 on tom 1, 4 on tom 2, and 4 on tom 3. So let's do that. Cool, so I hope the most people will be familiar with that fill-in. But because it's a little bit boring to play always just tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, to make it a bit more interesting and exciting, the next step would be we orchestrate it in any variation around the drum kit where you think it sounds good. So here's one example of how to do that. Cool, let's get into the next topic, which is going to be a bit more interesting, and I'm trying to explain you a concept of groupings. So, what did we do so far? We played everything in a time signature of 4/4. What does that mean? That means basically we have in one bar 4 quarter notes of time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone should know at this point that at the time of 1 quarter note we can play 4 16th notes, which results in a full bar into 16 16th notes. And that was what we just played on the snare drum, on the drum kit, from snare to the toms. It was always 16 hits which we played. So the next step what we're doing is, we know we have 16 hits in one bar and we playing groupings. I say we play groupings of 4. So how many groupings can we play? And that's just mathematics. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So we can play 4 times a grouping of 4. So how are we going to fill out one grouping? The first 2 hits of a grouping of 4 would be snare, snare, and the third and the fourth one would be bass and bass drum. So we're including the bass drum as well. And we count 1 E ender, 2 E ender, 3 E ender, 4 E ender. Cool. Let's get that into a context with a groove. Cool. So the next step is again orchestrating the same sticking, right, left, bass, bass, around the drum kit. And I also demonstrate that on different tempos so you can see how the fill-ins sounds even on a fast tempo. Let's go. Cool. So if you want, you can just stop the video right now and practice that fill-in to a metronome on the tempo which is comfortable for you. If you understand everything so far, let's get into the next step. So what we're doing is we're still staying on 16th note subdivisions, but we're playing groups of 3 instead of groups of 4. That means we can play in a full bar 5 groups of 3, that's 15. And 1 hit is left, and we're just gonna play that on the snare drum. So the group of 3, we're just playing right, left, kick. So in a full bar, it would sound like this. Okay, the next step is to play this again together with an 8-note groove. We do it slow, just on the bass drum and snare drum. Alright, when everyone is familiar with that, the next step is again to orchestrate that sticking right, left bass drum around the drum kit. We do it again on different tempos so you can see the effect on a higher tempo. Let's go. Okay, so in the next step, we're still keeping 16th notes as subdivision, but what we're doing now is we're mixing up the groupings. So now we're using two groups of 6, that's 12, and one group of 4, that's 16. Let's talk about the groups of 6 now. So far we played everything in a hand-to-hand sticking, right, left, but now we're introducing a new sticking on the group of 6. So we're playing now right, left, bass drum, right, left. But what we're introducing as well is accents on the right hand and ghost notes on the left hand. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you play that fast, it sounds like this. And what I would suggest as well is playing on the two ghost notes, left on the left hand when we play that, a double stroke. Because with a double stroke, you get way higher speed into that fill-in. And you make just your life easier. Cool. So we're playing the groups of 6 2 times, and the group of 4 is just right, left, all gonna be played as accents. Let's see how that fill-ins just sounds on the snare drum. Okay, cool. I hope everyone understands that so far. What we're doing in the next step is just getting that fill-in orchestrated around the drum kit in context with an 8-note groove. So we're playing 3 bars of an 8-note groove, and the 4th bar is gonna be the fill-in. And what we're doing is, in the group of 6, the ghost notes staying on the snare drum, and the right hand is playing the accent on the snare and tom 1. And the group of 4, we're just playing right hand on the snare, left hand on tom 1, right hand on tom 2, and left hand on tom 2. So the fill-in, the group of 4 sounds like this. Let's play the full fill-in. Alright, let's get that in a context with the groove and on different tempos as well. Alright, so far so good. I hope everyone got to that point and did understand everything. So, let's summarize a little bit what we have done so far. So we played everything in a 4/4 time signature, and we played everything in a 16th note subdivision. But what we did was we changed the orchestrations. For example, we introduced the bass drum and the snare drum and the toms. We used everything to play the fill-ins. Then we introduced different groupings. So we didn't play just groupings of 4, we also played groupings of 3, groupings of 6, and then we mixed them a little bit up to make it a bit more interesting. Then as well, we started off with the sticking right, left, just hand to hand, super simple. And then we basically introduced some new stickings, for example, right, left. Yeah. Then we played all of the fill-ins as well on different tempos, somewhere a bit slower and somewhere a bit faster, just to see the effect the fill-in has on different tempos. And as the last thing, we basically introduced different dynamics. So we played accents on the right hand and ghost notes on the left hand. So what is the next thing we could basically change or do to make it more interesting? So I would say we're changing the subdivisions now. So we're going away from that 16th notes, and let's say we're going for 6 tablets. What does that mean? So if we play a bar full of 6 tablets, we're basically playing on every beat 6 notes. That results into 24 notes over the whole bar. If we say now we're playing groupings again over that bar, let's say we're playing groupings of 6. So that means we could basically play 4 times a group of 6 to have that 24 notes filled out, basically. As we just played in the fill-in before, a group of 6, which was right, left, left, bass drum, right, left. We could use that fill-in as well as 6 tablets, basically. And this is how it sounds with a metronome. Okay, now let's orchestrate that again around the drum kit. This time we're playing this orchestration. And we play that now one time on 100 BPM and the second time on 120 BPM. Alright, I hope everyone got to this point now and everyone understood it so far. And I think there was a lot of content already, and there's definitely enough stuff to get just on the drum kit and play around with, create own fill-ins, because there are literally over 1 million and even more possibilities what you can do with all of that stuff, and just be creative. For everyone who says now, I can play that already, that was boring, tell me something new, I actually got something a bit more special, and I would say as well more uncommon, because when I say that, I basically mean quintuplets, because I think quintuplets are just not that much around yet. People obviously play it, but it's just not that common yet, really. But we just go for it now, because we can do it. So for the next example, what we're gonna do now is we're changing the subdivision to quintuplets. What does that mean? So we're basically playing on every beat 5 notes. That results in a full bar into 20 notes. So far so good. But what we're gonna do now is we're playing groups of 4 on the top of that. That means we can play 5 times a group of 4. And what we're gonna do as well is we're accenting always the first note of that group. And this is basically how it sounds together with the metronome just on the snare drum. Okay, once we've got that together, we are basically replacing now the last hit of the snare drum with a bass drum. So the sticking in the groups of 4 would be basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right, bass drum. So together with the metronome, it sounds like this. Let's put this together in a context with a groove now. So we're playing again 3 bars of an 8-note groove, and then I orchestrate that sticking around the drum kit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm accenting the first note of the groups of 4 on the cowbell, so we can really hear when the group starts. Then I play tom 1, tom 2, and then bass drum. but we play that as quintuplets. So yeah, we're playing that as well on 2 different tempos. Let's see how that sounds. Alright guys, I know this one was a bit more complicated, but I hope you still understood the concept of groupings and how to apply them into your fill-ins and with different subdivisions. Now I've got something really cool for you, because I know how confusing and complicated it can be sometimes to play different groupings on the top of different subdivisions. I have created a document. And on that document, I basically wrote down every grouping from 3 to 7 on the top of every subdivision. So you have basically every grouping on the top of triplets, 16th notes, quintuplets, sextuplets, and even septuplets. It's all written down. I also included hand-to-hand stickings like right, left, 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 right, as well as paradiddle, reverse paradiddle, inward paradiddle, and outward paradiddle. So yeah, here you can see an example of that document, and that's a lot of stuff. You can just apply that on your pad and practice on the pad, or apply all these ideas directly on the drum kit. So if you're interested in that document, just send me an email to info@kevinheindrums.com to get that. Now the last fill-in I'm gonna show you is basically one of my favorite fill-ins, and it's based on 6tuplets. So that means we're basically playing 24 notes over the full bar. I'm gonna divide that 24 notes into 2 groups of 9, that's 18, and 1 group of 6, which is 24. So let's go for the group of 9 now. The sticking is, for the group of 9, right, left, bass drum, right, left, bass drum. So we play that 2 times. And then the group of 6 is missing, and we're basically playing that almost in the same sticking, right, left, bass drum, left. And all together on a metronome, let's play it on 60 BPM, sounds like this. Now in the last step again, we're orchestrating that sticking around the drum kit, and I'm gonna play with my right hand the toms. Tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, tom 2, tom 1. And the left hand just stays on the snare drum. Let's hear it with the metronome. Cool, now we're already at the end of the lesson, and let's summarize a little bit what we did and what we can do to make linear fill-ins a bit more interesting. So first of all, we can change the orchestrations, we can change the groupings, we can change the stickings, we can include dynamics as well, and we can change the subdivisions. So if you want to spice up the things even more, you can include, for example, flamps, doubles, maybe even rests to give the fill-ins a bit space here and there. And if you want to go really crazy, you could basically play all of that stuff on the top of odd time. So we're playing in not in 4/4. We could play that in 5/8 or in 5/4, which is going to be really, really crazy. Cool. Yeah, there's basically no limit what you can do with all of that stuff. Now, at the end of the lesson, I hope you enjoyed this video and you just got some new ideas and concepts which you can practice during the next lockdown. And yeah, either just practice the fill-ins from this video or start creating your own linear fill-in ideas with these concepts. Cool. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and give me a follow on social media at Kevin Hein Drums. And if you wish to have live one-to-one drum lessons, because I'm teaching as well in person or online on Skype, just send me an email to info@kevinheindrums.com or just visit my website, kevinheindrums.com. There you can find all the courses I'm doing. And yeah, now in the end you will see a little video of me applying some of these linear fill-ins in a musical context. And I would say that's it for today. So I hope to see you guys next time again and have fun playing the drums.